All right, all. Welcome. It's another 90-day recap chat. We're talking the spinoff Hunt for Love. And basically, Hunt for Love is all of those 90-day rejects. And I'm not saying they're rejects like that, but either their relationships failed or they ended up not even getting married at all. Whatever the scenario, these are the leftover 90-day fiance people. They want to learn to find love, and some of them for other franchises as well and spin-offs, but it all came from 90 Day Fiance. Anyway, they want to learn how to date, find love, and have another chance at relationships, but it's kind of really just a free-for-all. I feel like it's like a Love Island setup. They do have a few classes here and there where they teach you how to flirt and other things, but I don't really feel like there's any really deep dive classes in which you're really trying to learn how to be a better person, which are some things that you probably would do when you want to find love, all the other things. It's just like really messy and fun. I think that's the whole point of the show, right? I say another version of Love Island. Anyway, let's start back with Cole, Rocky, and Usman. They're all at the cenote and they're in paradise. It looks beautiful that these three guys are chatting, talking. And Cole's really complaining about the fact that it's been put out there that he's been spreading the rumors about Rob and Elise hooking up. And he said that he did lie, but he didn't lie. I don't know. He did say it was Tiffany just to kind of get it off of him and get Elise off his back, but at first he didn't say it, something like that. I'm getting confused with this whole scenario. Jen claims that he's too afraid to speak up and tell the truth that it really was Tiffany in the first place. I'm very confused. Who started this? A lot of people are confused. Is it Tiffany or Cole? These are the only two people they're giving us at the moment, but I'm going to share some information at the end of this episode as I watched. I think it's called the Between the Sheets version of Hunt for Love. I think that's what it's called. So Jen claims that he changed his story, and she's not sure why he can't just confront Tiffany and just man up or whatever. Elise is now hearing all this information, and she says, okay, so now I see that Jen is not the one that's spreading this rumor. I'm good with her. She's sneaky. She has issues with men, but that really has nothing to do with me. As long as she keeps my name out of her mouth, I'm good with her. They do a little bit of girl bonding, like they're supposed to be besties for a minute, I guess. And Elise says, let's have a pact. Girls over boys. I'm like, then she's like, well, she may be dropping Cole, so is it bye-bye to you, Cole? Is he the source of the drama? All right, so let's cut to Rocky and Chantel at the cenote. They're in paradise, and they're kind of chatting it up and trying to see if there's some type of a vibe between them, which they both agree that it is. So after her date with Joe, things haven't been popping after that. Like, it's still a bit cold with him. I guess he hasn't really said much, even though the date went well. So she's open to Rocky. She actually tells him that he's sexy. So then he's like, okay, this opens my door to say, would you like to go on a date? But what about the whole love square issue? What about him and Tiffany? Tiffany has a desire to talk to him, but she's really been on Carlo more than anyone else. Jay also had asked her on a date. But Chantel concludes that Tiffany will be fine. She can lose one of the three men that are interested in her. And she says, sorry, girl. Not that it's a total loss. They're just going to see if they have a vibe or chemistry. And this was the whole point of going to the cenote anyway, was to make new connections and build on the ones you already have. All right, so now Elise, Jennifer, and Courtney are hanging out, looking at the guys with their shirts off, looking at Rob, and they have something to say about his nips, saying basically that his nips are big. And Jennifer's like, yeah, They're like the sizes of sausages or pepperonis or something like that. But she says she just thinks he's so sexy every time she looks at him. Like, she doesn't say that about Cole, so I feel like there's a different vibe she has with him. Cole's an attractive guy, so I don't know why. I guess she has some type of chemistry with Rob on some level. But she says she likes him because of his life attitude. The word sexy was thrown out a few times in this episode, a little more than I'm used to, at least on this show anyway. So now Jen, Rob, and Elise are all hanging out, laying in the same cabana bed together. And is this like a throuple thing? Rob's asking himself, how did this happen? I thought Elise probably wanted to stay away from me because of the rumors, but the three of them are like, I won't say they were full on canoodling, but it was some throuple-ish behavior going on. And Rob says he's not complaining. Usman and Courtney, they come into this situation and they start talking. Then Tim comes in. It becomes a crowd at this point. And they're all going to send Colt a message, a video message, tell him to get well. But Usman's like hugged up all on Courtney, kissing her and trying to give her a kiss on the cheek as he's talking to, doing the message for Colt. And Tim is like, and even she says that might stress him out. Maybe you shouldn't do that on the video. And they kind of talk about Usman and Courtney. They kind of talk about Colt and the fall and the situation, etc. And he kind of really wants to know what's up. Are you feeling me? Are you digging me? Well, she's kind of in a stressful situation is what she keeps saying, right? She wants to look out for Colt, but she has a vibe for Usman is what she's saying, right? But Tim kind of tries to bust the vibe up and he's like, yeah, well, you can't really do that because Colt's sick. You're going to stress him out if you guys are like go on this date, because now they're like, okay, let's go on the date. And I'm like, well, Tim, why do you have something to say about it? Because honestly, Cole is not here to witness this date, so how will it even bother him? He's not there though. And Courtney's like, yeah, just mind your business, Tim, and just mind your business and mind your business. I mean, like, yeah, really, he should do that in this situation. And he does mention, hey, I don't even have a date. That's right, Tim. That's right. So why are you in everybody else's business? Anyway, so the coaches bring everyone together and say, the challenge was to make new connections and all of that. So we want you guys to forge ahead. And Chantel and Rocky kind of share, hey, we kind of made a connect and we're going to be going out on a date. In the meantime, Cole actually gets a visit from Courtney and he's about to get his surgery. So she's there to support him. He's kind of opening his legs as he's wearing that hospital gown. Probably revealing a bit too much. Courtney puts her hand in the way of this video shot, so he's showing a little bit too much here, and not sure why Courtney is videoing this, because I would have just turned my head and turned the camera off. But it kind of lets us know they're kind of comfy with each other. He's like, not till the second date, right? But did they even have a first date? I mean, it seemed like they have more than one date for the fact that it sounds like they've been hanging out in the mornings, having breakfast together. So they kind of been dating all along, even though it wasn't maybe officially called a date. Kind of sounds like they've been dating. Just thought of that. So now the guys are on the beach giving us some frisbee fun, giving us 80s with this music, with their shirts off. That's the best part. Tim, he doesn't really fit in there. He does not have his shirt off. He definitely kept his shirt on, and he's just not giving us the 80s boy montage vibe with your shirt off, hot, playing frisbee. Yeah, he doesn't fit. And I think it's funny, actually. May is climbing this rope. They're just always on these little jungle gyms, like an adult, what is it called, park or something? Because it's like always this gym equipment, and they're always playing with the gym equipment, climbing up things like they're kids. And we see how strong May is. Like she's lifting things, and Tim looks pretty much weak in comparison. He's trying to lift things. I don't know why he's even trying. Is he trying to show off? I don't know. He's thinking about trying to talk to May. What kind of wants to shoot his shot. He says Elise kind of turned him off on the fact that she did that throupley thing with Rob. Like he doesn't really know what's in her head, and he's kind of not feeling her. So he's not even gonna try to. I guess he said he needs to just watch out for her. I think he's trying to keep his options open, and maybe he sees the fact that he probably doesn't have a chance. The boys are trying to act extra boy-y, and one guy did like a 200 weight press with these little wooden weights that they have out there. It's like, dude, you're just totally flexing for the video. There's really no need to do all of that. But I mean, if you're a workout guy, go ahead and do what you do. But it looks like you're just trying to flex on camera for me. I'm just saying. I'm not mad at it, but it seems like that's what it is. Alright, so Rocky and Chantel are, they kind of announced to the group that, hey, we're going to go on a date. But Tim says he prefers her with Joe. Now he's standing there with Jen as well. So he's like, well, they've been kind of comfortable, flirty the whole day. So he's like, I'm going to shoot my shot with Jen. It's like, hey, so they're going on a date. Why don't we go on a date? So she's like, yes. And she kind of stumbles a bit. She's like, you know how nervous I get around you? I'm like, wow, really? You really love Rob that much? Anyway, so we have a couple of dates going on. Maybe not another double date like she had with Usman. So Courtney and Usman, they finally get on their date and they're doing the zip line. She is freaked out about this date. The bridge you have to go up is bouncy. She's terrified, telling them don't bounce on this bridge, y'all, because I will lose it. She's terrified. She says she hates nature and bugs. But God, that's what the tropical islands are. Why did you even go on this trip if you hate nature and bugs? You probably should just stay in your cabana the whole day, maybe. But I'm sure some bugs will get in there too. Anyway, Usman kisses her and comforts her fears, like, you're gonna be okay. And they're just giving me a little Love Island here, because I feel like the zip line was done on Love Island. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know a lot of shows probably do it, but these dating shows they like to do this on days for date activities. Just giving another Love Island reference. Usman says, let's talk about the whole issue with Colt. I'm kind of jealous. You've been spending a lot of time with him and all of this. And she's really like, well, I'm caught between two people right now. I'm stressed. I want to be there for my friend. And I also want to date you as well. So he's like, well, let me ask you these hard questions, which you probably should have asked earlier. And I think it was good he asked these questions. He's like, so would you date him if he came back on to the island? And she was like, well, he probably won't, because he's like, well, no, I'm just saying, what if type of scenario. And she was like, well, it would be rude to say no, especially after you're trying to recover from all this. So her answer is basically yes on that. Like, he's hurt really, and we're friends and we kind of get along, but I don't know if it's romantic or anything. So then he asks, are you attracted to him? And she's like, attracted? Well, I think he's an attractive person. But, she kind of left it open. And he's like, well, she's not really giving me the answers, but she kind of is. She kind of basically told you where it was. And she kind of is telling you she's more feeling cold. He says, well, you feel what you feel. I'm going to let you have that. But I'm proclaiming my love for you. I love you. He didn't say proclaim, but that's what he did. So cue the wedding march. You guys are getting married on that zip line. Jen says yes to the date. And I guess I kind of went ahead of myself because I think I told you that already. Who's going to tell Cole? Everybody's talking about that and all that. So then they're sitting, Jen and Rob are sitting together talking. But before that happens, Tim says, well, I'm going to have to welcome Cole to the Ripped Out My Heart by Jen Club. And Rob, you're probably going to be next. It's not going to be all roses for you. But Jen and Rob, they talk, she's flattered that he's taking his first date with her, and he's like, well, this is my first and only date. I wanted to be with you and all of this. He's here for her. She's the only one. They're flirting and bonding over there. And Cole's coming down the beach, and everyone's like, oh no, what's Cole going to do? Cole basically will just have a tantrum. He's not going to do anything, guys. He's not the fighting type. He's just going to whine and maybe have a bit of a tantrum. I'm not scared of what he's going to do. He's disturbed by the situation, and he's talking to everybody about how he feels because they're kind of confronting him. They probably want him to say or do something. And Chantel has to tell him that, yes, that he asked her on a date and she has to open that door. And he just doesn't know how to feel. He just basically feels like disrespected and disturbed by the whole scenario. That's all. He's just talking. So, I guess that basically wraps up the episode here. But I have to tell you guys, according to Between the Sheets, which came on right after, who started the rumor? Rob, I think Rob and Tiffany and some others were talking on Between the Sheets, the after show of Hunt for Love. They're basically saying Carlo was the one that really started this whole rumor in the first place. It was not even Jen, nor was it Cole, nor was it even Tiffany, who they're all throwing under the bus and trying to confuse us. Carlo's like, he's stirring the pot, and he's saying, acting like he's innocent in this, but he was the one that started in the first place, and he's not getting any blowback or anything from this as of yet. And also, when we find out the next episode, we get a little preview. We see Elise and Carlo kind of have a thing going. He says he's into Tiff, but also Elise, they have a connection, and this is news to us. So we're going to see what happens with this, and he's supposed to let Tiffany know about their little situation, which they may have had a Rob and Jen. I mean, it's all signs are pointing to that, but we'll talk about that next time if that's the case. So that's the end for Hunt for Love for now. For more faith, love, and trends and chats, you guys can always go to cbiztvmedia.com, which is our other platform. If you have any thoughts, comments, questions, email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. And we'll talk again. All the best. God bless.